Rodriguez Show.
And we are back on the Rodriguez Show, and it's like we explained earlier in the show, we're not in the studio, we're improvising because we're not gonna miss our 7.5-year streak of never missing a Friday. So we're still here and we're doing it, and we even have a special guest. His name is David from Intentional Sound. What's up, man?
Hello. Yeah, pretty good. You know, just here.
Yeah, hanging out.
Yeah, hanging out.
Right away, they can follow you at Intentional Sound on Instagram, intentional_sound.
Right.
And that is your audio engineering. Like, I think you describe it better than I can. So what is Intentional Sound?
Intentional Sound is essentially just like a all-around community service for mostly musical artists when it comes to just recording, live sound, booking shows, sometimes even just like artwork or just general art in general.
Nice.
And yeah, I mean, it all started because of audio engineering. Like, that's my field. That's what I do.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, from that, like, that's originally it was just supposed to be like a recording studio, but just over time, I've gotten more and more connected into audio and my music community. That's just what I wanted to focus on.
Gotcha. So before we even get into like how you get started with audio engineering, like where did your love of music come from? Like that's obviously where like it must have started because of that, right?
Yeah, definitely. It started all because of my dad, really. I think my family, but I guess with my dad, I would say that like, you know, we were just on a trip to like a family hangout, and you know, he just played the Beatles, and that was it for me. Like, I fell in love with that car ride, and like, you know, for the rest of my life, or like the next like year and a half, like I became so obsessed with the Beatles. It just all became about that.
Yeah.
And then like throughout the years, I just learned a lot more about general music in general. Like, I just had a lot of friends that were passionate about music. So like I just got into a lot of like indie and punk and hip hop and everything that I could just, you know, listen to and just illegally download too. So, yeah.
Is the Beatles still your favorite band?
I would have to say so. Yeah. Just because like, you know, for the most part, my favorite artist for a long time was Sun Kill Moon. Mm-hmm. But considering now they're kind of canceled, I would much better say the Beatles. So I feel more comfortable with that, I guess.
Yeah. It's tough to have like people that you admire and then like they do some stupid shit. And
totally.
You're like,
totally.
What the hell?
Yeah. I mean, we all do stupid shit, but like some of it's just like, come on, dude, you didn't have to go like that far, crazy. So yeah.
Kanye West. So you love music. So you wouldn't put yourself as like, oh, I just like one genre. You are experimenting with that. I mean, I know you, and I know that's true, right? Like, do you have like a favorite genre that maybe a lot of people don't know about?
Yeah, I guess like, mostly the indie rock that's mostly infused with like a lot of shoegaze stuff, and just like post-rock in general. Like those two terms, shoegaze and post-rock, usually leave people kind of confused about it. So whenever I like just kind of elaborate on it, they always think, oh, that's pretty cool, but it just leaves them interested, I guess, in it. So, yeah.
That's cool. Who would be like the most popular band that I would know?
You know, I still haven't come up with a good answer for that. But Explosions in the Sky are very popular post-rock band. Shoegaze, maybe like Slow Dive, or someone that's really popular right now, I guess, is Always. They have a lot of shoegaze influence in their sound.
It's cool.
Yeah.
So your variety of music that you like is obviously everywhere. What is the story of like audio engineering? When did you decide like this is what I'm gonna do?
It was pretty much when I was 15, I want to say. That was like sophomore year in high school. And from there, like, I started playing guitar when I was like 12. And then when I was like 15, that's when I was like, okay, I'm going to write my own songs. And I started writing my own songs. And then I was like, I want to record them. So my dad got me a laptop that had a recording software, GarageBand. And that's what I just used to record. And I fell in love with the process. One of the songs, I had a friend of mine do the recording for me. And just watching him do it, he was a lot more professional than me. I learned a lot from his experience and just like doing it, that it just kind of inspired me to pursue or just look up what producing and engineering is. So
Yeah.
from that, like from like 16, 15 years old, that's when I like started getting into it, but I didn't take it fully seriously till maybe like when I was 20. So yeah.
Nice. And then did you grow up here in Orange County?
Yeah, well, yeah. I was born in Van Nuys in the Valley, and then I moved down here to Laguna Hills when I was 10 years old with my mom.
Oh, okay.
And yeah, I just been living with her from like when I was 10 till I was like 22. And then when I was like 22, that's when I decided to move to Santa Ana, and I'm currently 24, about to be 25.
Yeah. Oh, wow. That's so you've always, so I would say your formative years were in Orange County. Right?
Yeah, definitely so.
So what? So yeah, like you said, you studied that. Did you go to school for that?
Sort of. I took a class in high school. I took a class, I think it was senior year, and there is a funny story about that, but I'll tell it later, I guess, if I have the time.
I mean, why not now? Tell me.
I guess the funny story right now is that like the teacher for that class, so it was a senior year, the teacher for that class, it was just going over the basics of audio engineering. And, you know, I finished the class, it all went well. I was like, okay, great. Now I know how to be an engineer, blah, blah, blah. And then all these years, I become an engineer, I become a full-time engineer, etc. And then it wasn't until last month where this teacher, he was performing with a band that was performing at a festival that my partner put on, Soldo. And I was doing sound for them, and I was like, hey, you used to be my teacher, because I recognized him. I recognized his name on the tech sheet, and I was like, hey, you used to be my teacher. And he was like, what? So, and I guess the funny part about it all is that now we're going to be performing soon together. They invited me to perform on guitar with him in his band this Saturday. So
damn, so like a full circle moment, right?
Yeah, full circle.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
That's great. And then he was probably like, oh wow, like so he didn't remember you?
No, he just did not. I mean, maybe I was a little bit familiar, but like, no, yeah, he did not remember me.
Yeah.
But besides that class, that was just like in senior year in high school. College, I went for recording, but I wasn't able to get a recording degree at Orange Coast College. So I got a music business degree in college, as well as a Spanish degree. And I took one recording class, and it wasn't that great because the studio was still being built as the class was being taught.
So you couldn't really use anything.
We couldn't really use anything. And whenever like the teacher was trying to like teach us something, stuff would just break, and like, and it would just like it would just waste a lot of time, really.
Yeah.
So partially, I guess it was bad because of the class like not being done, but also I guess because of the teacher's attitude towards it all.
Yeah.
But other than that, I guess that's like my formal training, I guess, when it comes to engineering.
That's so funny. The story that I have about my radio career is that I took one radio class in college, and the teacher was having like a mental breakdown, and I got like a C in that class, and now I'm still doing this 7 years later.
Yeah, exactly that.
So one of the things, obviously, so now, at first you weren't doing just intentional sound, right? Or at what point did you say like, all right, this is going to be I'm going to do this full time?
It came, well, as I mentioned, I moved to Santa Ana when I was 22, in May of 2020. So I was still living with my parents, you know, when COVID happened in Laguna Hills.
Yeah.
And then like I was working with a guy I just met, John Roseborough. He was a guy from, I guess, I met him in Santa Ana, and then like we kind of like started working at my home studio in Laguna Hills. I told him that I want to move out soon because my original plan was I was supposed to go to Cal State Dominguez Hills for my recording degree, my bachelor's in recording. But because of COVID, I pulled out my application and I never went to university. So, but I still wanted to move. So I was like, hey, John, like, do you know anyone who's, renting a room? And he sent me Rocky Angelini's Instagram story where Rocky was looking for a roommate.
Oh, wow.
And and so I was like, hey, Rocky, like, my name's David. I'm looking for a room. My friend said you had one, and Rocky left me on red. and then I bothered him like a day or two later. I was like, hey. And then he was like, oh, hey, just come on by, check it out. And so I checked it out. So I guess that was like my start in Santa Ana, the music scene around like May 2020.
Yeah.
And from there, like I just got so connected into the Santa Ana scene that I just felt compelled to just like help everyone that I could. You know, in the time I was helping John, and I was gonna help Brianna with their album, as well as like my friends' recordings and everything. But yeah, soon enough, I just met a bunch of people, like Eddie Navega, Rocky, Apollo Bebop, all those people I met and grew connections with, and it was just nice.
It's funny how like the story that you're telling me, like the Santa Ana's, like how you got how you met everybody. Yeah, those are people that like I've also encountered. Like Eddie, he was my first band interview ever.
Yeah, okay.
And that was like 7 years ago.
Yeah.
And now I see him still performing, and I'm like, oh my god, like good for that guy.
Yeah. And like I've even told Brianna, like it's funny to me that the way that I got into the Santa Ana scene was just at the heart of it with Rocky, you know, being, you know, the host of the Cool Lab, and all these people go to the Cool Lab, and then, you know, I just happen to be living with the guy. And I just see people come in and out, like Marcelino one day, and then Ray Khalil one day, and then Brian to Earth, things like that. So it was surreal, but yet funny. So yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I have a feeling like 10, 15 years from now, maybe sooner than that, people are going to be like, holy shit, all those people were in the same place at the same time. Yeah. Like, I think that's about to happen for us.
100%. Yeah, I think so too.
Yeah. So what are some of the drawbacks of like doing it, like being a person that's like not freelancing, but you have your own business? Like, where's the challenges in there?
The challenge just comes from like, you know, not having steady income, first of all. For me, I left my last job June 2020. And that was like, I used to be an employment coach for someone with autism and cerebral palsy. And that's when I was working with him, that's when I was like, you know what, I think I want to devote my life to, you know, what I truly love, which is recording. So I left that job and started pursuing this. And the difficulty was just like accepting the fact that, yeah, I'm going to not have any income for a while. But, you know, instead I'm just investing in the gear and the people, the help, the knowledge that I need in order to succeed. Yeah. So I guess that was just like a big learning curve. And I mean, that's also a huge thing when it comes to audio engineering or just audio. It's just, it's such a huge learning curve. Like when you're doing it on your own, you learn one thing and then you're like, okay, cool, I mastered it. But no, there's actually like a section B of what you just learned, and then section C. So it just gets deeper and deeper. So,
but and that's the good thing about like doing something you love, is that you're always like invested in learning more. Like, I never stop like looking at new things that come out for podcasting. I'm sure same thing with recording gear that you have.
Of course, yeah. I'm always like learning, always amazed of just what is around me all the time. So.
Do you think that, so obviously we've heard, you know, bad mixes of a song, but is there like a right way to do it?
No, I mean, there is no right way. I mean, there is no right way from a technical standpoint, but the right way is if it makes you feel something, you did it the right way. You know, like that's all it is. Like music has to make you feel something, and that's what I try to do when I mix something, whether it's a recording or a live show. It has to make you feel something. Yeah,
that makes sense. So I obviously throughout this, like having your own business, you've also been able to, you know, express yourself creatively with your band Ceramic. How did that come together?
That came together 2016. I started the band with my friend Russell, who I went to high school and middle school with. We just kind of bonded over post-punk music, and we just kind of started writing songs that we tried to just kind of emulate that sound. And then like around 2017, that's when we had like maybe 2 or 3 songs done. And I was like, I want to write lyrics, because it was just instrumentals. I was like, I want to have lyrics and vocals, but I don't like what I sing or write. So I put an ad in the Orange Coast College music area looking for a vocalist, and my current singer Arya, they responded to the ad, and I was like, oh wow, this is cool, because Arya I actually would sit like in front of in our piano class, so like I knew who they were, but I don't think they knew me.
Yeah.
So this was cool for me to see because I knew that they were talented.
Yeah.
And then we just over the time just kind of bonded over, you know, what direction I might wanted for lyrics, and then they'll just kind of adapt to that. And from then, it was just pretty much just only record or releasing stuff online. And it wasn't until this past May of 2022 where we were like, let's actually start playing our own shows. So that's what we did. We played our first show June 2022, nice. June 23rd, I guess. And we brought on two of my friends to help us with guitars and drums.
That's dope.
Yeah.
So it was like kind of something that you formed with one other person. Now it's become a bigger thing than that.
Definitely, yeah.
So before I do want to plug that you have a show coming up with them next week, the Fusion Fest. Is it 2? I screenshotted Fusion Fest.
Yeah. Fusion
October
Fest
28th, happening at 8715 Orangewood Avenue, Garden Grove, and it's $8 and it starts at 3. And there's a lot of people playing ceramics, Stay Longer, Vox Humana, right?
Mm-hmm.
Strange Matter, The Hags, Death Will Bring Change, Rome Apart, PUF, and the Beach Stones. That's dope.
Yeah. Do you know PUF?
No.
So that stands for Pure Unadulterated Funk.
Oh, that sounds cool.
They're incredible. I mean, all of the bands, at least the ones that I've heard on that lineup, are all incredible.
Yeah.
And it's going to be such a great show. Like, it's going to be a great show, a fun show, and sort of an important show. Just because of the lineup just itself is fun. Important in that it's the Beach Stones' first show coming back since the tragic passing of their frontman.
I did see that, yeah.
But it's going to be a celebration, and I'm very excited for that. And Fusion Fest too. I mean, my friend Brian Garcia, who owns his own studio in Garden Grove Fusion Studios, he put together his first Fusion Fest last year. And, you know, I'm sure it was a success. I wasn't there. I was somewhere else. But, you know, this year it's happening again. And I'm excited to just support it, be a part of it.
Yeah.
And my old band, Death Will Bring Change, is also playing. They played the first Fusion Fest as well. So it's funny that I'll be here this year, but in a different band.
In a different band.
Yeah.
That's I'm excited. I'll be there, obviously, because
Cool. Yeah.
it's gonna be great. So back to so ceramic. That was one of the questions I had, was like, how does the group dynamic work? So now that there's more people that are involved with playing live, do you all kind of share ideas with each other and create like newer stuff, like the demos that you sent?
Yeah, like the 4 songs that we currently have released on like Spotify, everything, those were majority written by me, musically speaking, and lyrics by my vocalist. But then as we started playing shows, like I didn't just want to be a dictator and just be like, play my parts that I wrote, you know, like I just gave everyone the songs for them to just kind of like interpret them as they will. And then just kind of make it into the best that they can. And in the process, like we just kind of made it more like of a rock band. And I'm so happy because it sounds way more natural, and like the chemistry is just a lot better, you know, but by me just like giving everyone parts, or just like the freedom to write their own parts, I should say.
Yeah.
And, you know, it's just been a very symbiotic relationship, I guess.
That's great.
Yeah.
Where do you hope to take the group itself? Like, what are your goals with it?
The answer I always give is ceramic is a experiment for me to take it as far as possible. Not because I want it to be a full-time job or anything, but because, you know, I'm just curious. Because like I feel like I've been around so many different people and influences and learning things that I feel like the knowledge that I have, I just want to take it, apply it to the band and just see how far I can take it. So,
yeah.
Yeah.
That's cool that you don't have any like expectations in that sense. You're just trying to see what comes of it.
Exactly. Yeah. Like Like if it comes to, hey, maybe we'll someday play crypto arena, you know, like, hey, why not open for Ed Sheeran, or, you know, hey, be nominated for a Grammy. That's actually my personal goal, to be nominated for a Grammy. Not even win it, but just be recognized, you know. And not for ceramic, because I don't think we'll get one, but like as an engineer, you know, I think that'll be very important to me. So speaking of the engineer thing, I also wanted to give you the opportunity to talk about how you're going to have more shows coming up with Intentional Sound, that you're growing it. So how does this, explain this to me? So yeah, like June 2021, that's when I was like, you know what, I've been engineering now full time for like almost a year. Let's make it into a business. So I wanted to give it a name. I came up with Intentional Sound. The name really just comes from, when you're an artist, you just have to come in with the best intentions for your music, whether that be like how far you want it to go, or like how do you want to be recorded, how do you want it to sound. Like just having those goals, those mindsets, being intentional with all that, like that's all that it takes to make it successful. So that's all it is, just intentional sound. And
then you're also able to add like more, like you had mentioned before we started recording, was that it's not just you doing this, right? Yeah,
it's pretty much just me doing it with my friend Noelle Gonzalez, who plays in this band called Mirage Wave. She's super passionate with everything music, and you know, just a great fit for what I do with Intentional Sound. And I just need help with promoting shows, because I can't book and promote shows all by myself. So thankfully she's been able to book these 2 shows that are coming up.
So you want to talk about a little bit about the 2 shows that you got coming up? The first one's Wednesday the 26th, right?
That's right, yeah. So we got 3 bands: the Noir Dallas, the Cosmics, and Picture Naomi. Great bands. I wish I could know their music a little bit more, but as I said, Noelle booked the bands, and I'm very excited to just like be a part of it, honestly. And with the following show on the 30th, Storm Coast, Mirage Wave, and Revel Peace. That's gonna be a fun show. I mean, both shows are gonna be fun, because with Intentional Sound, every show that I do, I just want it to be different than just showing up, see the bands, maybe buy some merch, go. You know, like with these shows, we're gonna have some pumpkin decorating and like costume contests and apple stacking, things like that.
All more interactive things.
Exactly. Yeah.
And I think that's important, because nowadays, like, you know, like with the Rodriguez show and so many platforms, like doing these kind of events, you have to stand out. You can't just do like, hey, here's a couple people performing.
Like one of my favorite ideas that I did was, I think it was the last show, or no, the second to last show that we did back in August 31st, where I had a comedian in between band sets. And even though it was like sort of weird for like people to just like see a comedian instead of listen to music, like I think it was a cool first step to try to implement that for future shows.
That's a cool idea.
Yeah.
I've always wanted to do that, but then I'm like, I want the laughs. You know what I'm saying? I want to make the people laugh.
Yeah, exactly.
But I feel like what you're saying. So they can follow you at intentional.sound. And did you want to plug your personal one, or just?
Yeah, might as well. You know, David.Antonio.Garcia.
Nice.
That's my full name, and don't wear it out.
So now, I feel like you're doing everything you can. You're trying to express stuff creatively. So what do you look forward to like this year, or like doing in the future?
Well, with ceramic, I'm currently planning a tour, a 4-day weekend tour with ceramic. So, you know, talking about just going as far as I can. This is our first step in trying to do a tour, you know, like just get a taste of it. It's a weekend tour just in Southern California. But also just trying to get as many people that I can to record, you know, just because I love helping my community and helping my partner's music studio nonprofit, B&B Music Studio. And just being as helpful as I can to everyone. So even with your show, the Halloween Fest, but also just general Rodriguez show stuff. Like I love helping you. So
I appreciate that. Yeah, David's been a really big help behind the scenes, you know, helping me learn so many different things about audio that even though I've been doing this for a while, I didn't know. So thank you, man. I appreciate
of course.
It. It's all about, you know, building this community and how we can help each other out.
Definitely. Yeah.
Well, thank you for being here. Before I let you go, we are going to play some of the music from Ceramic as well. But before we do that, I have this segment called 60 Seconds With. I haven't done it because you haven't in a while, but you haven't been on the show, so this is your chance. Are you ready for this?
No, I'm not.
All right, 60 Seconds with David from Intentional Sound. Let's do it. Favorite comic book character?
Spider-Man.
Favorite song right now?
Gold Dust by Duster.
One word to describe you when you were in high school.
Weird.
Do you have a hidden talent?
I guess like my pinky just like locks in place because of someone pushed me in the blacktop.
Least favorite song?
Shut Up and Dance With Me. I forget. Oh, Walk the Moon.
Walk the Moon? Yeah. Oh, yeah. Indica, sativa, or hybrid?
I don't smoke.
Okay. Netflix, Hulu, or HBO?
Netflix for Seinfeld, Hulu in general.
First CD you ever bought?
I think it was Weezer, the Blue Album, or The Doors self-titled.
Hey, both great albums. First song you illegally downloaded?
That I don't... Or no. All the Small Things, Blink-182. Shout out Blink-182.
Favorite non-hip-hop genre? Oh, you guess you already answered that
it.
before. Early 2000s hip-hop or early 2010s? You can answer.
2010s.
And your favorite thing about music?
Passion.
And that was 60 Seconds with David from Intentional Sound. Thank you so much, man. You want to talk a little bit about the two songs we're going to play right now?
Yeah, sure. I don't know what order you're going to play them in, but...
Whichever order you want.
Sure. Let's start with the first one, Towers. That was the first one released. Great song. That song I was actually kind of influenced by Kanye when I was writing it, and my bandmates hate that that's the case.
Story.
But it's true, and like you can't hear it at all in the song, but I think it's a great song.
Yeah.
And the next song, In a Slight Blue, that took me like 2.5 years to like get it down and like finish it. It's an all instrumental track. Sorry, spoiler. And I think it's a great song as well. Great driving music overall.
Yeah. Oh, that definitely. That's what now that you're telling me that, I was like, that would be good for a drive.
Yeah, that's right.
All right, David. Well, like he mentioned, he's going to be doing sound for the Halloween Fest, which is next Saturday. And we'll put information on all the other shows that he mentioned. And thank you, man. Thanks for being here.
Thank you, Caesar and Carla.
Back to the music with Mondo, and we'll be back with more on The Rodriguez Show.
Woo.